Hello students, I am Dr. S.R. Dandote. I welcome you to the fourth video on semiconductor physics. In this video, we will be deriving expressions for Hall voltage and Hall coefficient and further its applications. At the end of this lecture, learners will be able to apply expressions of Hall voltage and Hall coefficient towards different applications such as measurement of carrier concentration, drift velocity, mobility and conductivity of the material. In last video we have seen some basics of Hall effect and Hall coefficient. So let us have quick review of the same. When we consider a specimen either of metal or semiconductor carrying current I, when placed in transverse magnetic field which is acting perpendicular to the direction of current, and EMF is induced due to the force which is called as Lorentz force, and direction of this induced EMF is perpendicular to both current and magnetic field. So this is the phenomenon of Hall effect. The voltage developed due to induced EMF is denoted by VH and it is called as Hall voltage. Now let us see how can we obtain expression for this Hall voltage as well as Hall coefficient, which is defined as reciprocal of product of carrier concentration and charge of charge carriers. Okay. This Lorentz force which is produced because of the action of magnetic field is given by F is equal to BeV. B is magnetic field strength, E is the charge and V is called as drift velocity. So because of this Lorentz force we know EMF is induced and some electric field is generated. The two surfaces F and F dash shows the development of potential difference and when it is measured we denote it as VH. So this VH is called as Hall voltage which is developed across the surfaces which are separated by distance W, that is width. It has been discussed in the previous basics. So based on that we can express the counterbalancing force produced by this newly generated electric field E given as the product of charge multiplied by that electric field. So these two forces are produced which are acting in opposite direction. So under equilibrium condition these two can be equated and we get E into E is equal to BeV or E is equal to BV. Now electric field E is given by VH upon W. So let us put this value in equation 3. We can write VH upon W is equal to B into V and therefore expression for Hall voltage becomes BV into W. Now in this expression 5, B is practically measurable, width is also measurable. Now how can we determine this drift velocity? So for that purpose we will focus on that measurement of V. So for that purpose let us recall the expression for current expressed in 4 terms. This formula also have been discussed in the previous video. I is equal to NEAVD. I is the current flowing through the material, N is the carrier concentration, E is the charge of charge carriers, A cross-sectional area of the specimen and this VD stands for drift velocity. Now this equation 5 consists of VD which can be replaced with the help of this equation. So we will rearrange it for VD. The equation becomes VD is equal to I upon NEA as equation number 6. So put equation 6 in 5. We get VH is equal to B into W as it is and V is replaced by I upon NE into A. So BWI upon NE as it is. Now A is area of cross section which is given by W into T, that is width into thickness, in which W cancels and we get Bi upon NET. So VH is equal to Bi upon NET is equation 7. Now as per the definition, RH, that is Hall coefficient, is given by 1 upon NE. So this 1 upon NE from equation 7 is RH. Okay, so thus equation 7 becomes VH is equal to RH into Bi upon T, or we can rearrange it for RH as VHT upon Bi. So this is one more formula for Hall coefficient. Hall coefficients, one formula as per definition is 1 upon NE. It is further equated with VHT upon Bi, which is derived expression for Hall coefficient. So this way equations 7 and 8 gives the desired expressions for Hall voltage and Hall coefficient. Now based on these different equations we can have the different applications of Hall effect or Hall coefficient. So let us see what are different applications. Now before we discuss the details of the applications, let us see what are the conclusions which can be drawn from this equation 8. See, equation 8 gives the value of RH, that is Hall coefficient. So if we consider this equation for Hall coefficient as 1 upon Ne, so this is always constant because N is carrier concentration, it will be constant, and charge is also constant. That means for certain given specimen, the value of Hall coefficient is constant. So this constant equated with this ratio VHT upon VI. So from this equation, the conclusion can be drawn such that if suppose you are performing the experiment and certain specimen is given with some thickness T, so that means T will be constant. Okay, so which are the variables? These three are the variables. VH, the Hall voltage, which will depend upon the values of B, that is magnetic field, and current flowing. Now imagine that by keeping all the parameters constant while performing the experiment, you have kept magnetic field constant and only current is increased. So what will happen? As this RH is constant, means you have to balance this LHS. Okay, so in order to balance that on RHS, if you increase this denominator, what should happen? Numerator should increase, so that this ratio will always maintain constant. Now T is already constant, means ultimately if we increase I, what will happen to VH? VH will also increase. This means that this VH is directly proportional to I. Similarly, again imagine that you are performing experiment by keeping all the parameters constant, and now you are increasing the magnetic field. Current is also constant. So while increasing the magnetic field, we will notice increase in Hall voltage once again. That means another conclusion comes that this Hall voltage is directly proportional to B also. Okay, so overall in general we can say that this Hall voltage will increase if we increase either B or I. So these things can be practically well observed. Now let us turn towards applications of Hall effect. The first application is to determine the type of semiconductor. That means we can distinguish whether the semiconductor is P-type or N-type by recalling the formula of RH, which is plus or minus 1 upon Ne. If we get the value of RH as positive, it means that the type of semiconductor is P-type, because positive sign is for positively charged charge carriers, which are holes. And in case if the charge carriers are negatively charged electrons, then we will get RH value minus. So negative RH value indicate that the type of semiconductor is N-type. So this way we can distinguish whether the given type of semiconductor is P-type or N-type. Now using the same formula, we can determine carrier concentration or density of charge carriers, that is N. So as RH is equal to plus or minus 1 upon Ne, we can rewrite this formula for N as 1 upon RH into E. So RH can be practically measured using that previously discussed formula, that is VHT upon VI. So that gives us RH multiplied by charge, that is 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19 coulomb, and this product when taken in the form of reciprocal, that gives the desired carrier concentration per cubic meter. Once we know the carrier concentration, by knowing that we can determine drift velocity, that is Vd. The formula is I is equal to NEA/Vd, which can be rearranged for Vd as I upon NEA. So values of N and A are calculated. E is constant. So these values, just by putting in this formula, current will be practically measured. We will get the desired drift velocity in meter per second. So here A is the area of the cross section of the sample, which is expressed as width into thickness. So once we know drift velocity, from that we can determine mobility using formula Vd is equal to mu E. Already we have seen this formula in previous discussions. So we can rearrange it for mu as Vd upon E, but E is Vh upon W. So thus for mu the formula becomes Vd W upon Vh, and it is expressed in meter square per volt second. And finally, by knowing drift velocity, conductivity sigma can be determined. The formula is sigma is equal to Ne mu, but Ne is reciprocal of RH. So thus sigma equal to mu upon RH gives us the measurement of conductivity sigma in mho per meter or Siemens per meter. Thus, by performing the experiment for RH using Hall effect setup, we can have several calculations. So these are the different applications of Hall effect. In next video, we will discuss about the next topic, that is solar cells, its basic principle and working. Thank you.